Hi there, welcome to your gentle yoga class for Wednesday, October 7th, I believe it is. So today I'd like to start us off with a little self-massage. So if you're somebody who wears glasses, you'll want to take the glasses off during the massage. If you can't see me, unless you're wearing your glasses, maybe you just want to watch the first round. So I'm going to remove mine for now. We're going to do 3 rounds of this massage. So don't worry about getting all the nuance the very first time. All right, so just begin by rubbing your hands together to create some friction and a little bit of heat. Okay, so this is called the Sea Otter Massage. And it is called that because of one part of the massage that looks just like what the sea otters do. All right, so now I've got some good heat going in my hands, and I'm going to take those hands and just lightly brush over my face like I'm washing my face. And then I'm going to get into the scalp, massage the scalp, and then brush down the neck. And then take one arm out, brush down the top, and then brush up the bottom of your arm, and do that kind of quickly, but with a light touch. And do the other side. Messed that up. There we go. Okay, now here's where we get into the sea otter. One hand on the chest, one hand on the belly. Rub, 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 just like a sea otter does when it comes up from hunting and it doesn't have any shellfish to eat. It rubs its pelt to stay warm. Then lean a little forward, get your back and rub, 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 rub the back around the kidney area if you can. And take your hands and just gently brush down your legs like you're brushing crumbs off your lap. And then let your hands rest and just pause for a moment, maybe closing the eyes or whatever you need to do to tune inward and feel the effects of that massage, the pulsing, the tingling along your skin, maybe even the heart beating a little faster. Okay, and then if your eyes are closed, go ahead and open your eyes. So round 2 is going to get a little bit faster. So you rub, and then you wash the face and the scalp and your neck. And then brush up and down one arm, up and down the other arm. And then the chest and belly rub. Lean a little forward for the back rub. And then down the legs. And then again, pause and simply observe how that feels. Okay, last time, this time there's an option to hold your breath in during the entire massage. If this makes you feel uncomfortable, agitated, or just, makes it so that you really are not enjoying the experience, then just return to your regular breathing. But know that this is an option if you would like to try that, okay? So you're just gonna start by rubbing the hands like you did before, but this time, before you begin, empty the breath out. Exhale all the air out. And then together we inhale. Hold if you're gonna hold, and then brush your face, scalp, neck, up and down one arm, up and down the other arm, chest and belly, back, legs, and exhale. And then just pause, eyes closed this time, if that's comfortable for you. Eyes closed, and feel your heart beating, and imagine, visualize that you're sitting in a lovely pool of water, nice warm hot spring perhaps, but just a very still surface along the water, so still that even the heart beating, the vibration from your heart beating creates a ripple that you can see on the surface. Visualize that. Those circles extending ever outward from the center, ever outward. And notice who else is in this pool of water with you. Maybe you've brought along your family or your town's community. Maybe the whole planet. As your ripples extend outward, also notice that other heart beating ripples are reaching you. So the ripples move out and in. Okay. And then let your eyes open if they've been closed. We're going to move on to different parts of the body, kind of isolating for a time a different part of the body, kind of taking it and observing it, but then also observing how that movement is when we let the entire body move with it. So kind of taking it out, observing it, and then reintegrating it with the body. So let's just start. Imagine you've got a paintbrush, one in each hand, and just very gently start to paint. Each hand paints its own circle, like you're painting two circles on the wall in front of you. Now try not to move the shoulders or the elbows. You'll see that my forearms move, your forearms will move, right, as we're painting these circles. And then go the other way if you haven't already switched. So other than the forearms shifting, this is pretty much about the wrist. Okay. And then shake out the hands. All right, now go ahead and extend one hand out to the side, one arm out to the side. I like to keep my elbow bent during this whole thing because I want to keep everything kind of loose and relaxed. So again, take hold of your imaginary paintbrush. This time you're going to paint on the wall to the side of you. So you just start to paint that circle and go slower than you did before. This is going to require you to go a little slow. And then start to bring the movement into the next joint, which is the elbow. So you just start to let the elbow kind of move naturally. It wants to bend and straighten. Don't worry about the circle no longer being on the wall. It's kind of three-dimensional now. Okay, and then move it up to the shoulder. So you'll feel the shoulder kind of moving forward and back. And so instead of a circle, you're now painting a spiral. You might even reach the fingers out like that. Yeah. And then without thinking too much about it, go the other way. So start your spirals nice and big, using the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist. And then start to make the spiral smaller. So we've gone out to the big circle, and now we're going to come back into the isolated joint, which is the wrist. Okay, and then just shake out that arm, and let's try the other arm. So you take hold of your imaginary paintbrush, and you start just by painting your circle, your imaginary circle. Go slowly. It's the wrist and the forearms that are working. Now see if you can bring the elbow into it. So it just starts with a bend and an extension, and then you can kind of move the elbow a little bit around, forward and back, and then that starts to get into the shoulder, forward and back. And you'll find out pretty quickly that it's no longer a circle, it's more of a spiral. At that point, you can let your fingers release the paintbrush and just kind of move the fingers in space. Notice that my spine is moving too, right? My whole upper body is moving together with this. Okay, now reverse direction, whatever that looks like. There's no wrong way to do this, by the way. Reverse direction, and then start to make the movement a little bit smaller. So now maybe we pin the shoulder down, and we're only doing the elbow and wrist. And then we pin the elbow down, and we're only back to doing the wrist. And we hold our little paintbrush again. Yeah, okay. And then just let the hands rest for a moment and pause. So that's an example of isolating a joint and then moving to its neighboring joints and then coming back, right? So really good to have that expansion contraction ability, both excuse me, both with the body and our imagination, our visualization with the heart. Okay. So now we're going to come into some little twists in the body. So let's just start with the hands on the legs and just start to slowly turn one direction and then come back to center and then turn the other direction and come back to center and just pause for a moment. So notice with your hands on your legs, there may be a desire or a tendency to kind of pull or push using the hands to get yourself into some shape that you think that you need to be in. So let's see if we can do it without the hands. Go ahead and bring your hands up to your opposite arms, upper arms. Take an inhale, center, and exhale, twist around the axis of your spine. And then inhale, come back to center. Notice the difference. Exhale, twist around the axis of your spine. Inhale, come back to center. Yeah. See how that feels for you. Notice the muscles you're engaging, right? We're kind of isolating this waistband of muscles, both on the front and the back of the body. Okay, now if this is feeling okay, you can try it with the arms out into the cactus position. So you inhale, center, and exhale, twist. And then inhale, center, and exhale, twist. And just see how that is for you. Inhale, center. We're going to do that one more time to each side. Exhale, twist. And inhale, center. And exhale, twist. Okay, go ahead and come back to center and slowly release the arms. So when you are doing a twist, you have to isolate parts of the body. Okay, so now we're going to come into a side bend. And side bend is really works well with this idea of integrating and then isolating. So we're going to do a very isolated side bend, and then we're going to see if we can integrate it throughout the whole side of the body. So let's just start by anchoring down. I'm going to place my left hand against my left thigh, and then right hand to the right shoulder. I'm just going to start to point the right elbow up. So first thing I feel is the stretch around the armpit, and then it starts to move down the ribs towards the waist. Yeah, and so from there, I can start to lean towards my left. That could be where I stay, or I might extend the arm. Okay, so that gets me a nice side stretch, but just mainly from the armpit down to the waist. Now, if I wanted to incorporate more, I can press my right knee down and maybe even lean back at almost like a twist, lean back a little bit. The beautiful thing here is you don't really need the arm overhead. You can still get this same stretch, almost the same stretch, even with the hand down here. as long as you've got this lift at the armpit. So, even if your hand was up here at the shoulder, you've got this lift of the armpit. This is the isolating movement. Okay, and then go ahead and come back to center. Notice how that feels. And then let's come to the other side. So anchor first, take the hand on your shoulder and point the elbow up. Maybe that's it for you. Maybe that's the stretch that you need on this side. Or you might lean a little bit into the twist. You could also extend the top arm. You could also push the down leg. See how that is for you. Play with it a little bit. And then remember, we're looking to feel this from the armpit down to the waist. That's our isolated side bend. Isolated side bend, armpit down to the waist. And that means you can have your hand pretty much anywhere that you like, as long as you're feeling it in that area. One thing you can do to intensify that is to do almost like a little twist, like you're turning your chest towards the ceiling. Okay, and then slowly come back up. All right, so now I'm going to go back to the floor and show you another way to do this twist that is a little bit more integrated. So I'm going to have a seat here, and I've got a nice folded up blanket, and I'm just going to take my left leg out to the side, right knee is bent, and I've got a nice thick mat, so I don't have to worry about if I put weight on my knees, it's okay, but you may want to have a cushion nearby if your knees are tender. Okay, so I'm going to do that side bend again. Right hand on the floor, left hand on my left shoulder. Start to point that elbow up. Okay, so remember, this could be where you stay, or you could bring the arm overhead. Now, here we're feeling that stretch. Hopefully you're feeling that stretch from the armpit down towards the hip, like I said before. But there are plenty of ways that you can create that side bend down the whole side of the body. And this is one way. You're going to put some weight on this right knee, if the knee allows it, and left foot and your right hand. So you're going to push off with your right hand and bring the toes of your left foot down and reach. So now you're getting this not only along the side of the body, but also a little bit towards the front. You can do that slight twist towards the ceiling to intensify it if you like. And then we're going to slowly lower down. See what that feels like. And then we'll swap over. Right leg out, left knee bent. So we start by anchoring. And then you begin the isolated version of the side bend, right? So elbow up till you feel the stretch. And then if it's appropriate for you, this could be where you stay, but if it's appropriate for you, you can extend the arm and you can put your weight on your bent knee and the extended leg foot. So hips go up and you're reaching overhead. And you might even twist a little bit towards the ceiling, chest towards the ceiling to get that nice long stretch. Now you won't feel this stretch exactly the same from right side to left side because your body is never going to be exactly symmetrical. Go ahead and come back down. And just pause. So on this right hand side, you have a great big organ called the liver, and that kind of pushes up on not just the organs, but also the muscles that attach to the legs. And so you have a little bit of asymmetry. There's usually a little bit of more of a lift on this right hand side. So you might not feel as big of a side bend when you're trying to stretch open the right side. Just be aware of that. All right, so now we're going to come into child's pose. And this is a good time to pad the floor if your knees are a bit uncomfortable with child's pose. And then I always recommend, if you are somebody who gets toe cramps, or you have any issues with your toes, you've got some hardware in there, just know that you can do this whole series with the toes tucked under. Okay, so we're going to come down into our child's pose, whatever that looks like to you today. Take a few breaths. And then empty the breath out. Next inhale, slowly come forward to all fours. Stop when your shoulders are directly over your wrists. Exhale and slowly bring your hips back towards your feet. Inhaling, extending forward, elongating your spine forward, and then exhaling, flexing the hips back. This time, come forward and pause. This is your inhale. So you're here in all fours, table pose. Then exhale, push the floor away and round your upper back into the hollowing cat. Tailbone's tucked, chin is tucked. Then let's reverse that. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your tail, shrug your shoulders out of your ears, look forward for cow pose. And then exhale, bring the hips back towards your feet, child's pose. Okay, so we're going to do those 4 movements. Inhale, forward to all fours. Exhale, round into cat. Inhale, arch into cow. And exhale, hips back, child's pose. Inhale, forward to all fours. Exhale, round into cat. Inhale, arch into cow. Exhale, back, child's pose. So we're going to do this one more time. Inhale, forward to all fours. Exhale, round into cat. Inhale, arch into cow. Exhale, back, child. Let's take an extra couple of breaths here. And then when you're ready, shift forward to all fours again. And you're going to step 1 foot forward. Doesn't matter which one. Just step 1 foot forward. Tuck the toes of the back foot under. Lift the back knee. And step the back foot to meet the front. Bring your hands up to your thighs and push off your thighs, coming all the way up to standing. Okay. So if you do have some padding on your mat, go ahead and take that off your mat for now. And we're going to come to stand and just pause for a moment. Feet are a comfortable width apart. Pause and just feel this new position. Feel the length in your spine. Notice if you're keeping any elements of the cat pose or the cow pose in your spine, right? Are you doing any of this or any of this? And see if you can find just an elongated spine. Okay, so we're going to come into some ankle circles. And let's start. I'm going to show you from the side in a moment, but I want to show you that I have my feet hip width apart, and I'm just going to step 1 foot back, but notice that I'm not bringing my foot behind the other foot. I still have the width of my pelvis, right? So here I've got my my right foot back. And it's not a big step back. It's not like warrior pose, okay? So I'm gonna bend both knees. Bend enough until you start to feel a little bit of stretching. So heels stay on the floor and weight is in the back foot. And you feel a little bit of stretching around the lower part of your calf and the back of your ankle, okay? Really press your heel down. All right, and then keep the knee bent, but lift the heel up off the ground and come forward, and then go back and forth between those two. So back and forward, pushing the heel down and lifting the heel up. So I like to imagine I'm wearing stiletto heels on a grass lawn, right? Oh, there goes my heel in the lawn, and then I pull it back up, and then I push it back down. Good. Now continue to do that. I'm going to turn to face forward again so that you can see that in addition to the forward and back, I'm going to want you to circle the ankle. So lift the heel, bring the weight to the big toe, and then bring the weight to the little toe, and then push the heel down. So you're making a big circle over to the big toe, over to the little toe, and then back down. Big toe, little toe, and back down. And you should feel how that weight shifts across the ball of your foot. One more time in this direction. Once the heel goes down, we'll reverse. So little toe, big toe, heel. Little toe, big toe, heel. Yeah, good. And one more. Okay, and then we're just gonna shake out the foot. So something you might have noticed is we started the feet close together, and then slowly the feet kind of drift apart. So let's stand with feet hips width apart again. This time we'll take the other foot back. Remember, short stance to begin with, because it'll travel on you. Bend both knees until you can feel that stretch in the back heel, back calf. Make sure that your toes are both pointed forward, the toes of both feet. If you turn your toe out slightly, you won't get the same stretch. Okay, and then we're gonna keep the knees bent and lift the back heel. So now we're bringing the weight towards the front foot. And then push your stiletto heel down into the grass. Pick the stiletto heel up, come onto the ball of your foot. And just go back and forth. This is stretching the fascia along the bottom of your foot, similar to the stretch you would get when you open your palm really wide. That's what we're looking to feel on the bottom of our foot. Okay. Now we're going to start to bring the weight forward, but then shift it towards the big toe side, and then towards the little toe side, and then back towards your heel. So around towards the big toe, little toe, heel. Big toe, little toe, heel. And keep going. Last one in this direction. And then we reverse once the heel is down. So little toe, big toe, heel. And you'll start to notice that there's an inside and an outside to your heel, right? So all the different edges, the nuances of the sole of your foot. Okay, last one. Once the heel is down, go ahead and release it. Shake your foot out. Okay, good. Now let's stand with the feet a little wider than your shoulders. So just, more like, a little bit wider than the shoulders. I'm going to demonstrate from an angle so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to keep my knees bent, hands on the hips, and just start by shifting your weight, your hips over to one side, and then let your hips go forward. Notice as your hips go forward, you have to lean back, right? And then the weight goes to the other hip, and then the weight goes back. as far as you can go. And I like to keep the knees bent here as I swing the hips around so that there's no discomfort in the knees. So we're isolating the hip joint. We're going to be doing that thing again like we did with the paintbrush, isolating the hip joint. We just did the feet, the ankles. Okay, one more. And then we'll go in the opposite direction. And notice I'm going really slowly because it can be tempting to speed this up and kind of skip over certain parts of the movement that might be more challenging. Okay. And then come back to center. All right, so feet stay in this position. They might even go a little bit wider if that makes sense to you, but turn the toes slightly out, bend the knees, and drop the tailbone, almost like you've got an anchor attached to your tailbone. Let it drop down, okay? And we're going to imagine that from the hips down, we're buried in sand. So now we're going to isolate from the waist up. Let's take our hands to the opposite arms like we did before. And instead of the hips going around now, it's going to be the shoulders. So shoulders go to one side, shoulders go forward, shoulders go to the other side, and then shoulders go back. See how far back you can go. Shoulders go to the side, forward, side, and back. And just notice how that feels. Notice where you get that, the stretching. It's slightly different than when you were doing the hips, right? Okay, this is our last one. And then we'll reverse. So to the side, forward, side, and back. How's that anchor at your tailbone? Is it still dropping you down? Grounding you? Doing a little matrix move. Like special effects. Last one. And then come up to center. And let's step the feet together. Shake it all out. All right, so for this next one, at least for the first few rounds, you may want to have something to hang on to, like the back of a chair or a shelf, back of the couch, something, wall. So we're gonna start with the feet and knees right next to each other. This is where we put together all of these pieces that we had pulled apart. Now we're reintegrating the whole thing. So feet and knees touching. Keep the weight in the heels and start to slowly bend your knees any amount. As soon as you start to feel the weight shift forward, that means you've gone too deep, or if the knees complain, you've gone too deep. Okay, so see how far down you can go, keeping the weight in the heels, and then you come back up. Nice and slow. It may take you more than one breath, which is fine. Breathe in a way that allows you to do the movement. Okay. Now visualize that the front of the rib cage and the thigh are connected. And the next time you come up, pull that knee up. And then when you go down, slowly put the foot back down. Now it's the other leg that's connected to the ribs. Pull the knee up and then set it back down. Try it on the other side. Pull the knee up and set it back down. And pull the knee up and set it back down. So now we are integrating ankle, knee, hip, spine. Pull the knee up, set it back down. One more time. Pull the knee up and set it back down. And then just come up to stand and take a moment. Maybe the heart's beating a little faster. These are large muscle groups. So when we engage those large muscle groups in a repetitive way, it does bring the heart rate up a little bit. All right. Now this next one you can do with or without the chair. I'm going to demonstrate it without the chair because it'll just be a little easier for me to demonstrate. But I might fall over, so you'll just know that the chair is useful. All right, so we're going to come back to the kind of leaning back, belly exposed, chest exposed position we did with the hips and with the shoulders, right? But we're going to put it all together with the legs. This is a special kind of lunge. It's part of the Qigong series of what's called the Phoenix. So I'm going to do the first few just really, really slowly. Step one foot back, keep both knees bent. The heel doesn't have to touch the floor here. Both knees bent, tailbone tucked, so the hips are kind of swinging forward and the chest is leaning back. And then if you're not holding onto the chair, you can open the arms just like this, kind of pushing your two walls apart. And that creates a stretch across the chest and the arms, okay? And then you bring the feet together, circle the arms, step the other foot back, and push. And then bring the feet together, circle the arms, step back, and push. Feet together, circle the arms, step back, push. Feet together, circle the arms, step back, push. And one more time. And then step the feet together, circle the arms, and just let the arms come down. Step the feet a comfortable distance apart and pause. Feeling the heart beating. Put yourself in that very still pool once again and visualize the circles extending outward in all directions from the vibration of your heart beating. And then see the circles coming back inward towards you. And we're going to take 3 breaths in through the nose, out through the mouth. And when you exhale, sigh, and let that sigh draw you more deeply into the center of your heart, into the center, the core of you. Take a breath in. One more. Right at the center there, center of your heart, there's a place of peace, of stillness. This is the source of these vibrations, but it is still. Okay, separate the feet a little bit wider than the shoulders. Keep the knees soft. And just let your arms be down by your sides. Breathe. As you inhale, allow show you from the side, allow the knees to straighten slightly, like you're just trying to peek over the edge of a fence to see something. And then as you exhale, allow your weight to drop into your heels and your knees and your hips. So inhale, pulling the weight out of the heels, knees, hips, elongating the spine, and then exhale, dropping down, heels, knees, hips. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up and exhaling down. Now bring the arms out to the sides, inhaling up. And then exhale, send the shoulders, elbows, hands out. As you do that, the knees bend and you drop your weight into your heels. Inhale up, let the arms relax. Exhale, extend the arms, let the legs relax. Inhale up, exhale out. Inhale up, exhale out. Like a little sea creature swimming around in the air surrounding you. One more. And then inhale, just bring the hands in towards the heart, and exhale, slowly lower the hands in front of you. Okay, you're going to step the feet even wider apart now. We're coming into Prasarita Padottanasana. So feet are about the width of your wrists if you extend your arms out. And then turn the toes slightly pigeon-toed, so slightly turn them in. Bring your hands to your thighs. Take a breath in. As you exhale, fold. Now, if you don't go very far before the backs of your legs start to complain, then it might be a good idea to bring your torso, or your hands at least, onto the seat of your chair. So you've got some support here. Okay? If, however, you can come closer to the floor, by all means do that, as long as it's not feeling dangerous on the backs of the legs, no injury, right? And just take a few breaths. Okay. And then you're going to slowly make your way back out of this shape. So if your hands are on the floor, start to walk the hands up the thighs. The hands are on the chair, you'll straighten the arms. And then bend the knees so that you can drop the anchor at your tailbone again. And that gets your hips underneath your shoulders, and push yourself back up, and then heel toe the feet in. Yeah, just pause and notice how that is for you. Okay. So now we're going to come to the floor, back to the floor, and you might want something for your head when you lay down. I like a little bit of padding for my head. So get down to the floor however you are comfortable getting there, and then just rest on your back for a few moments, feeling how this has affected your breath just by repositioning your body. Okay. And then let's bring the left knee into your chest and either hold the around the knee itself or behind the thigh, whatever you can comfortably reach. Just hug that knee in, feeling that stretch around the hips. Okay, right leg or down leg is going to extend. If that starts to pull too much on the quadricep, the thigh, the hip flexor, then you can keep the knee slightly bent, something like that, okay? Now you're going to take your left arm and bring it out to the side, and then pull the knee across you into a twist. And just pause. Remember, I said with twisting, you have to isolate parts of the body in order to come into a twist. Okay, slowly unwind. And then set that left foot to the floor and bring your right knee into your chest. Again, you can either hold around the shin or behind the thigh, whichever works for you. Extend the down leg, that's the left leg this time. And open your right arm out to the side. And then pull the knee across you, coming into your twist on the other side. And then slowly unwind, setting the right foot on the floor, bring the left foot next to it, and just pause there for a moment. And then let's come into figure 4. So left, outside of the left ankle comes to rest on the right thigh. And you're just letting your left knee kind of swing open. You can stay here, or you might pick up the down leg and pull the legs in towards your chest. This is our, what we call the figure 4 pose. And if you can't really see what I'm doing here, it looks like this. So I've got my left ankle trapped on top of my right thigh, and then I'm just pulling the whole kit and caboodle up towards my chest. All right, and then slowly release, and we'll come to the other side. So now it's the right ankle on top of the left thigh. And then pull the legs in towards the chest if you need to. Some of us are quick learners, so we can feel that stretch right away. So this is, again, another one of those isolating the area moments. Really good to be able to isolate, but you're not meant to isolate without integration. So you isolate and then you reintegrate the whole body. All right, and then slowly release. So take a moment now to just see how your body feels and question what would be the best relaxation position for you. One that you can sustain without pain for a few minutes. So maybe that just means that you will extend your legs straight out along the floor. For those of us with tender backs, that may not be the best thing. So you might need to do something like put your feet on the seat of a chair. like so. So let's see what works best for you. And then I want you to take 3 breaths to find the center of your heart. In through the nose and sigh it out through the mouth. Close your eyes. Feel that innermost part of your heart, the still center, place of peace. Know that you have that ability to take action always at your disposal. Those ripples are always extending outward, and the ripples are always extending back inward. You can receive other people's actions. But for now, focus instead at the very center of you. That still, peaceful, quiet place. Release the weight of your body. Relax the muscles, letting them fall away from the bone. And just let your breath be organic, natural, and easy. Take a slightly deeper breath. And slowly begin to draw both knees in towards your chest. Take your time. When you're ready, make your way over to one side. And slowly roll yourself up to a seated position. Sit however it's comfortable for you to sit. Close your eyes. Feel your heart beating. Feel those ripples extending. Feel the ripples of the other hearts returning towards you. And feel at the very center of you, very center of your heart, that place of stillness, of deep peace, understanding. Just bring your palms up as a gesture of respect and honor and gratitude. Thank you from my heart to yours.